Really excited to sit here with you today. Been waiting to make this video for quite some time. Today is the day that the new Masters of the Universe movie comes out. And I've waited for this movie for, I guess, for about 40 years now. It's funny because we've been building up the hype all week for this movie, and we've been really getting excited around the house. As you can see, I've got an attic full of toys. Most of them are Masters of the Universe. And undoubtedly, this is my favorite toy line. And that's why I'm sitting here making this video with you. Put on the movie last night from 1987. And we all sat down and watched it, me and my two boys. And as soon as the movie came on, John looked at me and he goes, no, Andrew looked at me and he goes, why does this look like Star Wars? And I started to think, and the original movie came out in 1987, which was probably right at the peak of the Star Wars peak, not too long after Return of the Jedi and two other really successful Star Wars movies had come out. And there were a lot of clones. So needless to say, He-Man did look like Star Wars. It did have laser beams, people shooting laser beams, which I don't remember from the cartoon. I don't remember from any other classic toy reference. So I think the laser beams definitely came right out of Star Wars, which, yeah. So I'm sweating myself already. I just started this video. I'm sweating myself off. This attic, I wanted to get in here about 8 o'clock in the morning and just come in here with that early Saturday morning energy and tell my story. And here it is about 12:30 in the afternoon. And as you can imagine, 12:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday in June in Georgia. It's getting, I don't know if I have a thermometer. Maybe we'll some temperature readings on the screen. That'd be funny. What I need to get is one of those thermal heat cams. You can, I don't know, see where the hot zones are. You'll probably see the whole roof is super red hot. Last night, we put on the 1987 He-Man movie, and we all sat down to watch it, and it was terrible. They missed the mark so far on that movie. I remember in 1987 being so excited to go see the He-Man movie, and we didn't go. Our family didn't go, but my cousin Michael went. And I remember asking him how the movie was, and he just looked at me and he said, it wasn't that good. You know, don't waste your time kind of thing. And I was beside myself. Like, how could a He-Man movie not be that good? The cartoon has been fantastic for the last 3 years, and everything they've done has been fantastic. So, with the 1987 He-Man movie, I don't think they had the budget in 1987 to do it the justice that it really needed, right? To make it work, it needs to be set in Eternia, which is, right, the fantasy land that the Masters of the Universe operates in. And they didn't have the budget for that with the movie, and they just cheaped out and made it on Earth with He-Man driving around in a pink Cadillac, and it was just terrible. And I thought the special effects were okay. I thought they were okay. But as soon as the movie started, Andrew asked, Dad, why does this movie look like Star Wars? And I said, well, that's because Star Wars was popular at that time, and everything piggybacked on that type of, genre, which is weird because He-Man kind of had their own thing going on. But they did introduce the kind of that the sets were very almost Star Wars-esque, if you will. And they were running around shooting laser guns, which I don't remember the cartoon anybody shooting laser guns. Maybe a laser beam out of their eyes. So the 1987 movie really it didn't have the pizzazz, right? And then when they remake the movies, for some reason, whenever they transition from whatever cartoon to real life live action movie, they hire an artist to redesign all the costumes. And it's weird because all the mega fans don't want the costumes redesigned. We want to see the costumes that we know and that we love, and see that character brought to life. And even for 1987, I scratch my head and I go, well, you look at the folks that are cosplaying at these conferences, like Dragon Con and all the other really interesting conferences, and they make these fantastic costumes out of foam and latex and all wonderful craftsmanships of arts and crafts and tools that they can recreate a costume with. I just got something all over my white pants here. And you wonder, why couldn't they done that back in the movie? Right? Why couldn't they done that back in 1987? Make our characters make him like He-Man, make look like Man-at-Arms and what have you. I never thought Dolph Lundgren had enough physical mass, muscle mass to be a convincing or compelling He-Man. Not quite consistent with the characterization in the cartoon and the action figure that we've grown to love. So, but his acting and all that, I don't know. I mean, the movie was, it's kind of, It wasn't He-Man. It was something else. And for something else, it was okay. But it wasn't our He-Man movie. And the same kind of thing at that time when they put out that Mario Brothers movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it was terrible. And it was like, this is so far away from Mario. Like, how the hell did y'all get here? And, it took them till just a couple years ago to remake the Mario movie. So I'm hoping with that same type of trying to be in tune to what the essence of the brand was and relaunching it, because people are yearning for that particular essence. If you can figure out what it is and recreate it, that indeed, which comes to our, I don't want to say our topic of this morning, but maybe the topic of this morning comes to the launch of the new He-Man movie coming out today. Well, it came out yesterday, but me and the boys were going to go see it today. So for us, it comes out today. Really excited about this movie. I've tried my best to, if I'm going to go see a movie, I try my best to stay away from all the trailers, all the preview screenshots, all that. And, with Facebook, social media, it's really difficult to completely 100% stay away from not seeing any imagery or any trailers. Even back 30, 40 years ago, it was difficult because you'd watch TV and a commercial would come on, and, that's what gets you excited about a movie. And, that's cool. Have a commercial. You got to sell your movie. But I've always been the mindset, if I'm already mind where I'm convinced that I'll go see the movie, there's no point in me looking at the trailer and spoiling. And when they show me Castle Grayskull, when I see Castle Grayskull today, I want it to be the first time I see that iteration, that creation. I'm going to experience it and be like, wow. Same thing with all the characters, same thing with all the settings. I don't want too much of a heads up ahead of time. But the He-Man character, the guy that plays He-Man, good looking guy, looks like he fits the personification of the Prince Adam to He-Man essence. So I can kind of see that. Probably the same critique. I think he could use a little more muscle mass. I think they should have leaned heavier on getting a bodybuilder that can act rather than getting an actor that they can have bodybuild and beef up his physique. So, in that nature, yeah, he is the most powerful man in the universe. He should look like Lou Ferrigno or Arnold Schwarzenegger or, is it the physique of Lee Haney? Just anybody. He really should look like a gargantuan. And I don't know. I guess being that a lot of it is calling on the power of Grayskull, and he's relying on a lot of magic to give him his strength, and the gods and the spirits and whatever else is channeling through him to give him all that strength. Maybe his physique is strong enough in that regard. So, the character looks really cool looking. He has the emblem on his chest. He has the leather cross straps. He has the leather wrist guards and the gladiator skirt or the leather hip guard, and it looks cool. Cool looking character. Very cool. Very cool. Um, very cool. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, I did get some. I did get a couple sneak peeks at what Battle Cat looks like and what the Prince Adam looks like, and Man at Arms and all that, and Skeletor and He-Man. So I know what the character lineup looks like. You can't really avoid that in 2026. I'm anticipating when we walk in the theater, there's going to be this giant cardboard cutout of what all the characters look like. So you can't avoid knowing what the characters look like. They all look pretty interesting, I think. So far, what I see, they've been pretty respectful of the original, and they've done a nice modern interpretation of the character design. So I'm excited about that. You can instantly look at the character and goes, okay, this is such and such. I wish they would have leaned a little closer to the original character design from the cartoon. But then again, I haven't seen the movie, so that's just kind of initial thought. Cool stuff, man. I mean, cool stuff, right? How cool is it? How cool is it that like, a couple hours I'm gonna be sitting there at the theater watching He-Man and Masters of the Universe. I'm just like, this is the most excited I've ever been for a movie in my entire life. And I thought about it. I thought about it for a week, and I thought, when was the last time you were this excited for a movie? And I thought, well, Jurassic Park. Yeah, you were excited for Jurassic Park, but it was more of excitement that week, right? That day. And what a great movie that was. But it wasn't the build-up like He-Man, like waiting all this time. The release of like the Rocky, I don't know, maybe 6 movie was kind of exciting, but the movie was terrible and it wasn't nearly this build-up. And then there's been maybe some superhero movies that you get excited about that are coming out. Off the bat, I think of Star Wars Episode 3, The Phantom Menace, and going and seeing that back in 1999, and all of our friends getting together and showing up at the theater at midnight, and the line was just stretching, like around the building, and people were just talking and excited about the buzz for the movie. And all these super fans came out of nowhere, right? And I'm with my buddies, the guys that I work with and my friends and all that. And I don't know. I felt like somebody maybe had their face painted. Maybe somebody else had a sword or action figure. That was like 25 years ago. So, man, a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun that was. And hoping that this He-Man movie coming out today, or that we're going to go see today, the screening today at 6 p.m., that it's really has that level of excitement, that the fans, they come out and they celebrate, right? This one's for the fans. This one's for people that have been waiting 40 years, people that love the message of He-Man, right? This is the He-Man cartoon was back when they were forced to put a moral at the end of the story or in the story, and the stories are just very wholehearted and kind, and has a lesson in each episode, and they demonstrate through the character behavior what proper behavior is, what proper etiquette is, like being a decent human is, and oh, that all that stuff is so far gone, so lost in anything modern that I turn on. That I typically I don't turn on the TV to watch TV and watch modern day because it's so crass and short, and it almost feels evil, for the lack of a better way to articulate all these attributes that are very self-centered with every single character. And as a result, it's become the norm in society, and there's a lot of self-centered folks right now. So, but this video is not about that. This video is about He-Man, right? And that essence. what made the cartoon so exciting. The characters that were out of this world, the characters that were all so unique and distinct. They all came from their different tribes, and they were here, at this Galaxian market world. There's this hub of the galaxy, this hub of the universe, and the characters being fantastic, and have each one having some kind of different power and problem, and every week it was something different, and He-Man had to figure out how to make things right again without resorting to the same tactics as his opponent, right? So how do I squash this person? How do I keep this person from doing any more harm without totally destroying them, right? And it's like, it's such a powerful mindset, right? Think of how much power you need, right? To outwit, to outmaneuver, to out manhandle your opponent and not destroy him, right? Have enough integrity not to destroy him. I don't know. I guess I'm getting on some kind of philosophical rant about He-Man, but I'm just having this moment of introspection with myself to try to figure out, what was it about He-Man that every afternoon me and my brothers would come home, sit down on the couch, sit down on the floor, flip on the TV, watch He-Man every afternoon. Usually 1-2 episodes. Usually they do like back-to-back episodes. And then later in running times, they did a He-Man, and then they would do a She-Ra. Or they would do a She-Ra, and then they would do a He-Man. But it's just such an entertaining cartoon. And seemed like it just had a good message, good characters, real high level of creativity, high level of imagination, and I really appreciate that stuff. I really appreciate the He-Man figures and the He-Man universe for all the inspiration over the years. Man, all right. I wrote down a couple things just to remind me, so I didn't get all the way through this and not talk about the things in my head. I am genuinely excited for the movie. I don't know how many times I can say that. Right? The buzz, that movie excitement, the hype, it's there. It's real. It is so real. And for a super fan like myself, you're probably sitting there going, why does this guy have an attic full of He-Man toys? And the answer is simple. He-Man is my favorite character, was my favorite action figure when I was a child. And you can see behind me the Castle Grayskull. I remember getting that in 3rd grade for Christmas. And I was a bit of an unruly child, I guess you could say. A little bit of a problem child. And I think some therapist told my mom something like, he just needs to be spoiled and shown that he's loved or something. I don't know. And thank God, I don't know who did that, who told him that, but thank you. Every therapist should tell parents that, right? Which is true, right? The kids need to feel loved. And my parents bought me the Castle Grayskull for 3rd grade. That's where we're getting with this. And I remember 3rd grade, Christmas morning, going down there, all the toys under the tree, Christmas time, the excitement of Christmas, the colors, the lights, and presents everywhere. And I remember opening up that Castle Grayskull, and it was probably the biggest toy I'd ever gotten. And I was just blown away. I thought it was awesome. It was scary looking. It was kind of, it's a skull, a castle skull, gray skull. And I was surprised that it was okay. It was a child's toy and whatever else. And almost equally surprised that Castle Grayskull is the headquarters of the good team, as scary and evil as it looks. But got Castle Grayskull, and I probably got some action figures with it too. I don't remember. I just remember just being, boom, loaded up with, stack of Christmas presents, different colors, and just unwrapping them and just having more toys than I knew what to do with, which seemed, it just seemed like the one Christmas that stood out that I really got a lot of toys. And that was the year I got Castle Grayskull. So I imagine I probably got a half a dozen or so He-Man action figures with it at the time. And my birthday's like, 2 weeks after Christmas, so I probably got more He-Man figures from my aunts and my uncles and all those type of folks, or maybe we had a Christmas birthday party and folks would come over and bring toys and presents. And action figures are a good, $5 item that people can afford, easily pick up, and when people receive them, they really like them. So action figures are really my jam. Favorite character, I'm glad I had this written down. Favorite character, without a doubt, Leech. It's my favorite character. I'm so glad I had that written down. Gosh, I'm getting chill bumps, man. This was one of the gifts I got. I think for Christmas, I got this Leech figure and one other figure from my Aunt Rose and Uncle Mike. And man, what a cool figure. You could take this figure back in the day and you push it. You had to get the lips wet, right? And once you got the lips wet and you push it down, it creates a suction and you push it up against the wall, or probably a piece of glass would be better. And you let go of the suction, and then the sucker point on there, sucker part, would have enough suction to hold it against a piece of glass. And cool. Man, what a cool ass figure, huh? I mean, badass, big teeth, green, some kind of weird swamp monster creature. Leech is my favorite, and the fact that my my aunt and uncle got these for me really meant a lot to me, and it's just part of that excitement and enthusiasm, right? And those memories of toy figures, right? And I remember about 3 years ago, I posted on Facebook and I think I tagged my aunt and uncle that she got this for me back in the day, and she was like, "Oh my God, did I get that?" Yeah, you did. Thank you. I love it. I love you. And thank you. I really appreciate it. And all the great memories that these toys have made over the years, man. Pretty cool. Leech, I thought, was just the coolest. And probably because I had it in my hand all the time. I got this other one on the top real quick. I might as well pull that up, Merman. And this was probably my twin brother's favorite figure, Merman. And it looks like a cat or something. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, but it looks like a cat. I always thought it was a cat. I don't know about you guys, but to me it looks like a cat. And same thing with the chest gear and all that chest piece. That thing fell off. That thing fell off in like a week or two. So I don't recognize it with the chest piece on. And the sword. The sword always looked like a corn cob. And never looked like a power sword. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. I think the sword is just like some type of power sword. But it looks like a corn on the cob if you look at the sword. So I don't know who designed that, but it always looked like a piece of corn on the cob in the box of toys. And it'd usually be the figure and no chest piece. But this was one of the toys my twin brother had as a kid. And Merman, I know it was one of his favorites, action figures. So Brother Will, I love you, man. So hope you're watching this. I hope you know I love you. And you please put them down below in the comment box. I'd love to share ideas. If you want to put a link to your channel, put it down below. Let's see what you're doing. Let's see what you got. I'm always excited to learn and share. And I want to grow the channel this year. That's really our aim, is to grow the channel. And so we can have the fan base and the resources to continue talking about toys, doing what we love, and enjoying life before we're all worm food. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign out. I'm getting ready to go see the Masters of the Universe 2026 movie. I am over the moon excited. I can't tell you how excited I am. I appreciate you watching my video. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you later. Take care.